Dinner was delicious. Curtis flashed that same boyish smile Lacey had grown so used to. Just like you. Lacey's lip trembled. She hoped he didn't notice. She tried to meet his eyes. He deserved that much at least. It was awful sweet of you to cook so much. What Curtis didn't know was how long she had agonized over her recipe books. What kind of meal was appropriate for a night like this? Don't mention it. In fact, she hoped he wouldn't. Curtis leaned back in his chair, so content. Could she really end things like this? No warning, no explanation? So, I've wanted to talk to you about something. Lacey tested her voice. She should have warned him, should have given him some hint of what was coming. She studied his face, the laugh crinkles around his eyes, the little bit of scruff on his chin, the soft jawline that made him look more like a first-grade teacher instead of a state trooper. Her gut squeezed up as if someone had clenched a fist around her stomach. She could get through this. She had to. It was for Curtis. It was for the best. "Daddy, Daddy!" The small, squeaky voice shot a searing pain through Lacey's chest as Madeline rounded the corner and skidded to a stop by the table. "It's skipping again." Curtis scooped his daughter up in his lap and nuzzled his nose behind her ear. "My munchkin needs help with a DVD, huh?" She stuck out her lower lip and pouted. "It skipped." "Well, you know what that means, don't you, Munchkin?" Curtis winked mischievously at Lacey, who smiled through the gnawing emptiness in her heart. "That means you get to start over from the very beginning." Once realization set in, Madeline's eyes widened in delight. "Really?" "You heard me." She almost jumped off his lap, but then she eyed his plate. "Can I try a bite of fish first?" He shook his head. "Miss Jo made a special adult dinner tonight. This is just for us." She pouted and wrinkled her nose. "Does it have peanuts? Is that why I don't get any?" "No." Curtis gave Madeline a pat on the bottom and set her down. "But now go eat your chicken nuggets like a big girl, okay?" Madeline scurried down the hall. Curtis had already changed her into her footed pajamas in case she fell asleep on Lacey's bed. It was the middle of summer, but the mosquitoes were so bad nobody in this part of Alaska dared to wear shorts, even indoors. Lacey watched as Madeline disappeared around the corner. Curtis stared at the empty hall with a contented expression on his face. Lacey had never known a more attentive father. In fact, until she met Curtis at the daycare, she had imagined they were mostly figments of overactive imaginations or literary archetypes. He turned his eyes back on her. Kind eyes, eyes that would in a moment or two betray sadness, shock, grief. How could she endure the next 5 minutes? Would he try to change her mind? She had never seen him angry before. Not even after her coworker Kim accidentally gave Madeline a granola bar with peanuts in it at the daycare. Curtis was away on a domestic violence call when it happened, but when he got back, he assured Kim it was only a mistake. Then, to thank Lacey for her quick use of the EpiPen, he asked her out on their first date. "This salmon was fabulous," Curtis declared. "A perfect dinner." He leaned forward, stroking Lacey's cheek with his finger. "Everything you do is perfect." If only he knew. If only he realized why Lacey had spent so much time on tonight's meal. In the past 4 years since she moved to Glen Allen, she had learned cooking could be therapeutic to numb her mind from painful memories. It could be utilitarian to provide meals for 24 daycare kids as cheaply and healthily as possible. Now she realized cooking could also be a way to say goodbye.